In this episode of the Christian Philosopher, we'll talk about the peaceful conversion of the ancient world and the continued existence of Christ's church as the fourth reason to think that Christianity is true. Welcome back, everyone. Scott Sullivan here from the Aquinas School of Theology and Philosophy. Today, we are talking about the fourth reason to think that Christianity is true. This is obviously the fourth video in a series I have entitled 10 Reasons to Think that Christianity is True. We are building a cumulative case by giving a series of arguments that are all independent of one another, but they conclude on the proposition that Christianity is in fact true. So, as I've kind of said before in previous videos, not only did Jesus claim to be God, and if he wasn't lying or crazy, then that claim is true. Not only did he back up that claim by fulfilling ancient messianic prophecy, not only did he back up that claim by rising from the dead, but also it's the case that after he died, the religion that he preached was taught to the entire world, and it spread rapidly and peacefully, just as he predicted it would. So what I'm calling here this argument from the peaceful conversion of the ancient world and the continued existence of Christ's church, it's kind of a combo argument, really. It's an argument about a moral miracle. Now, moral miracles, as I've said in previous videos, refer to how people normally behave, given human nature, how people usually choose things. That would be kind of a short definition of a moral miracle. But also this argument has the character of fulfillment of prophecy. And the reason why is Jesus made some pretty bold predictions. Let's talk about some of these predictions of Jesus. He made some bold claims about his teaching. He sent out missionaries to go and preach to the whole world. He said that his message would in fact be preached to all nations. It says in Matthew, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world for a testimony to all nations." But then Jesus added to that claim and said that his words would always be around. He says that heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. And then he made a claim that his church, the church he was going to set up, is going to in fact last forever. He says that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So think for a minute about the improbable nature of these claims, okay? So like, here's this guy in the middle of Palestine, ancient Palestine, say 30 AD. He's got a handful of followers. None of them are very influential. They're just fishermen and stuff, not very educated. The Jewish authorities, they don't like what he's doing. His country, his society is controlled by a foreign entity, that is the Empire of Rome. He's got no form of mass communication. He can't set up a Facebook account or a YouTube channel. So it seems pretty improbable that his words are going to just go out to all nations, that they won't die away, and that he's going to somehow, form this institution, his church, that's not going to pass away. But of course, the historical reality is that is precisely what happened. His apostles went out, they preached his gospel. Of course, many of them were martyred and faced much persecution. And this persecution was institutionalized. So, for example, during the persecutions of Rome, Christians were routinely tortured, mutilated. Their houses were burned down. Not a very easy environment in which one could spread Christ's gospel. So there's a ton of what you might call institutionalized resistance against this Christian movement. But not only that, the Christian moral message was one that went against our fallen human nature. The Christians would also go out and preach that, like, hey, you can't just have sex, with whoever you want, Romans. It has to be illicitly between a man and a woman who are married. So there's a certain natural given our fallen nature, a certain natural resistance to the Christian moral message, coupled with the fact that there is institutionalized persecution of the Christian movement. So this is obviously, these are very great external obstacles, and then also internal obstacles that are inherent in the Christian message itself. So in spite of all of these things, in spite of the institutionalized persecution, the executions, the martyrdoms, these kinds of things, these external threats, and along with the internal problems of accepting the Christian moral message about sexuality as it's going to be received, by pagans. And of course, the Christians didn't have any armies either. They had no weapons, no legions, no spears, no catapults. They didn't use anything like that. Just preachers just talking, and dying for what they believed to be true. And in spite of all these problems, nevertheless, in a relatively short period of time, the Christian religion, the religion that guy preached and said was going to, be taught to all nations and never pass away, that religion ended up taking over the Roman Empire. It became the official religion of the Roman Empire. And then after that is now the most popular religion in the world. And many of the early Christian saints saw the incredible nature of what we're talking about here. So, for example, St. John Chrysostom said that Jesus Christ did what no mere man could do. He won over the people of all nations through a band of ignorant Galileans. And also St. Augustine noticed this as well. St. Augustine says, "It is incredible that the world believed so incredible an event. And it is incredible that men of no birth, no standing, no learning, and so few of them should have been able to persuade so effectively the whole world, including learned men." Later on, St. Thomas Aquinas agrees and doubles down, saying, "This wonderful conversion of the world to the Christian faith is the clearest witness of the signs given in the past, so that it is not necessary that they should be further repeated, since they appear most clearly in their effect. For it would be truly more wonderful than all signs if the world had been led by simple and humble men to believe such lofty truths, to accomplish such difficult actions, and to have such high hopes. Yet it is also a fact that even in our own time, God does not cease to work miracles through his saints for the confirmation of the faith." Moreover, on top of that, the oldest institution in the world, the Catholic Church, that Christ established, as I've said, and many Catholic theologians say Christ established his church, that church has existed in spite of numerous threats over the centuries. So, for example, the Jewish authorities tried to destroy it, the Roman authorities tried to destroy it, barbarian invasions tried to destroy it, Muslim invasions, the Protestant Reformation tried to destroy it, Hitler wanted it gone, communism wanted it gone. All these external threats have, over the centuries, tried to destroy the Catholic Church, and of course, those people and their empires are gone, but the church is in fact still here. Those are the external threats, but also, of course, as any Catholic would acknowledge, there are a lot of internal problems that haven't destroyed it either. So in spite of all of the various internal threats, heresies, bad popes, bad priests, bad bishops, all these scandals and these kinds of things, none of these things, neither the external threats nor the internal threats, has been able to destroy the church that Jesus Christ himself said that the gates of hell would not prevail against. So I think when you consider all this, you have a historical miracle that has never occurred anywhere else in the world. Vatican I in its documents talks about this. It says this: "What is more, the church herself, by reason of her astonishing propagation," there's that allusion to this conversion of the ancient world in such a rapid and yet peaceful way, "her outstanding holiness and her inexhaustible fertility in every kind of goodness, by her Catholic unity and her unconquerable stability, is a kind of great and perpetual motive of credibility and an incontrovertible evidence of her own divine mission." So this rapid and yet successful and peaceful conversion of the ancient world, coupled with the continued existence of Christ's church in spite of all these threats, the outside threats and the internal threats, all these things taken together form what I think is both a moral miracle, meaning that it's a miracle regarding how human beings normally behave. Given their free wills, people normally choose certain things and not others. So it's miraculous in that moral sense, but also this argument has the characteristic of fulfilled prophecy, because all these things happened just like Christ said they would. So all of this, I think, gives us yet another reason to think that Christianity is true. Hey guys, just real quickly, if you like this stuff and you want to learn more about what I teach, you can check out my website, scottmsullivan.com, and there I have a free trial into the Aquinas School of Theology and Philosophy. There you can take full courses in theology, philosophy, apologetics, logic. You can take tests and test your knowledge and earn certificates. A lot of stuff going on there. And again, like I said, you can get a free trial at my website, scottmsullivan.com.